Are you a full-time creative and want to make content like this? Well, I'm Kevin, and I'm a full-time photographer and creative. And I have a podcast where I answer your questions and bring on sick guests. Check out the Casually Creative Podcast. New episodes drop every Monday on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And welcome back to episode 6 of the Casually Creative Podcast. And today I have a very, very special guest with me, and it is none other than the Ashley Bateman, also known as Ashley Bateman Photography. It is so nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to coming on since your first podcast.
Exactly. She's a long time supporter of it, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I listened to the first one. Literally, when I saw you posted, I went and listened to it immediately. I was actually in the shower, and I listened to it while I was in the shower. And then right after I got out, I texted you. I was like, Kevin, I love this. Like, this is so good.
That's good. For the first couple episodes, the first episode was pretty good. The second episode was a little rough because I literally filmed it at like 2 a.m. and I was talking like this, like, oh yeah, 5 tips for photographers. I was trying to be quiet because my dad was like sleeping in there, and the second one was bad, but the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth one have been pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad you liked it. Has it actually been helpful?
Yes. I just loved listening to you rant about some of these things because I'm like, yes, thank you. Say it louder. Like, I can very much relate to it.
There we go.
So.
That's the goal. It's to help people, but also kind of be relatable and slightly entertaining for photographers and people who are creatives and maybe people who just want to listen to what I have to say. So, it's definitely been fun to make. I said I might be doing episodes. This might be a Thursday episode. I don't know. I know on the last episode I said I'll be posting Mondays and Thursdays, but Thursdays would just be me. Thursdays might be guests too. Thursdays might just be random for whoever's listening to this. You know
I'm
what
just
I mean?
Special, so I get Thursdays.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So I guess we'll just kind of get started into telling people how we know each other. Obviously, you went to Malden. You were a grade below me. You graduated high school last year?
Yep. Graduated last year, but I did not graduate from Malden.
Okay, that's right.
I went to Malden my freshman through junior year, and then I changed schools, and I went to Shannon Forest. But me and Kevin met at Malden that was my sophomore year.
Yeah.
You were a junior the first time. When I was taking pictures? I'm pretty sure I was a sophomore, and then was it your senior year?
I was a senior year. I think I was.
Was
yeah,
it?
Yeah, because it was definitely my senior year.
Okay.
Because
His senior year, my junior. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Okay. But I was taking pictures at the football games for special teams.
The Malden special teams. If some of y'all might listen and might know about that. The group of guys, man. What a good group of guys.
Y'all loved me.
We did, because we got free pictures.
Yeah, they did get free pictures. They did. But I loved doing it for you guys. I enjoyed it a lot since I wasn't cheering that year as well.
Right.
For Malden.
Why weren't you cheering that year? I've always wanted to ask you that.
So, this is kind of. Hopefully Beth Ward doesn't watch this.
Okay, so we can just leave it at that.
Yeah,
if you want to, we can just leave it at that. Okay.
I'll tell you when we're.
Okay, yeah, off camera. So she went to high school. We knew each other through football. She took pictures for me and some of the guys, and she took really amazing photos. Some of the photos, like one of my favorite photo from that year was one you took. It was when my only time kicking off a football. You got a picture of it.
I did?
You did.
Oh my God.
It might have been during halftime though, but still, we can say it was during the game.
It was during the game.
So it's all right.
No one
though.
knows.
But that was the last game I played too.
Really?
Yeah, because backstory, my parents didn't let me play the last. I had played football.
I think I remember hearing about this.
It was so stupid. I hated it so much. But so I played football from when I was 6 years old all the way up till my senior year of high school, and I had something to do with my grades, and they were like, "You're not going to be able to play." God, I could rant about this. This could be a whole episode, but but they didn't let me play my last 2 games when I'd been playing for up to that point for like 12 years. So
I specifically remember being told that by somebody on the football team.
Yeah, I was not happy about it, but it's all right. I got pictures of me playing my last game and kicking off the only time I was able to kick off. So so that was good. I appreciate that.
I loved doing it.
Yeah,
I looked forward to it every Friday night.
Yes, it was fun for sure. So, but also let's talk about this because you just told me about this like not too long ago, and it's that we were compared to each other, and I didn't know this, but you had a bunch of people that came up to you and You just tell a story.
So since me and Kevin went to the same high school and we were both photographers, people, anytime Kevin would post something on his photography account, people would come up to me and be like, did you see what Kevin posted? And like, what are you gonna post now? And I took it like as criticism almost. Like, and just how they compared us was just, that's what made me mad. Was them comparing us, because it's like, we helped each other out, if anything.
Right, and that's what people didn't know.
No one knew that we kind of worked together. Yeah. So
when people were doing that, did that like create a disdain for me at all, or was it just like?
No, it was not for you. It more made me anxious of, oh my God, am I doing something wrong, or do I need to fix what I'm doing? That kind of thing. It more made me insecure about myself and what I was doing. So whoever compared us,
do you remember who it was at all?
I'm not naming names. Not
she does not want to start beef. I'm sorry.
I don't.
We don't do that here. We're all about positivity on this podcast. But no, I do definitely think that kind of speaks to like how toxic it can be, especially like with young people in the sports photography world. Even though you do some sports. You said you mainly do soccer, right?
Yes, I do a lot of soccer since my sister and my brother play soccer. That's how actually my first like photo shoot was soccer, really, which was hard. But I love doing soccer. I'll do soccer all day. So
you weren't really into the sports world that deep. But you did it though. And then but people would just like, people love to compare people, and it's just like, we're doing this because we love like to take photos and we love the art of it, and it just sucks that other people who aren't photographers compare us, and then even some photographers compare themselves to other people and think they're better than other people, which I've talked about this a million times. I could get into that.
Yeah.
But we did talk about this, which is gatekeeping. Like,
yes.
Me and Ashley are not fans of the gatekeeping.
No, we are not.
We do not ride with that at all.
Like, I mean, even when we were helping each other out, I mean, you'd ask me, like, if you asked me about a lens, like, I'd tell you. Ask me about, same thing. I asked you about Photoshop or something, you'd tell me. Like, I mean, we were very open, like, with asking each other questions. For one, I mean, we were both learning. And I think the more experienced photographers need to stop. Like, if someone's just trying to reach out and get help, like, I have people all the time in my DMs asking me about locations, because people in our area, it's kind of hard to find locations. And I don't gatekeep my locations. Whenever I post the location with like tagged in there. Because, I mean, I don't think it's fair. I mean, if someone wants to know where a photo is taken, you should tell them, not, oh, yeah, it's just somewhere in Greenville. Like, just tell them where.
Right. Yeah, the same thing. I've told the story on the podcast about the guy who was asking about what camera, and it's like, dude, it doesn't matter. Like, if it's truly someone who's beginning and they want to know what camera you have, and let's say they buy the camera you have, they're not going to be as good as you.
Right. Like, they still have to find their way around the camera, work everything out.
So there's just no point in like trying to gatekeep stuff, and I think it's better for the community just to be help each other out. Like people who I've seen people who have the thing on Instagram where it's like you can buy a subscription to them.
Yes, to learn like, from them.
Like, shut up. Like, I get the classes like on YouTube, like you can buy someone's classes.
Yeah,
it's understandable. If you want to go like more in depth to like especially when it comes to like money, I can understand that. Because you're giving away your secrets almost. But like if it's just like something simple, just answer the question.
That's exactly, like, I understand doing that if you're doing like extensive training, like really going into depth of, you know, how a camera works and all that kind of thing. But if you're asking someone to pay you just for like to know what you use, that's like, absolutely absurd.
Shut up, dude. Like, come on, just answer the question. Answer the DM. Yeah. So tell me how you really got started. You told me your grandpa, uncle was a photographer, right?
So it was Thanksgiving, and I was 12 or 13, and my uncle was a professional photographer, and he was taking family pictures for everybody since we were all together. And he needs someone to take his family pictures. So I offered to do it. And after I saw the way that the picture came out, I immediately fell in love.
Yeah.
Like, I was like,
and how old were you?
I was 12 or 13.
12, 13, okay.
Yeah. And so then I went home and we had a Nikon D60. Like the oldest camera ever. And I went out and made my friends and my sister like dress up and took them out somewhere. And I just would go take pictures of them to like get experience. And I'll be honest, that D60 took decent pictures for how old it was.
I'm saying some of those, yeah.
I mean, and it was a good thing for me to learn on because there wasn't as many like settings and all of that stuff in a camera that old. So I would say it honestly benefited me using an older camera. And then I eventually moved up and up. So.
And how long did you stick with the D60?
I had that for maybe a year after I started like experimenting. Because then when I started actually getting clients, I was like, okay, I need to get a better camera.
Right.
And my uncle always told me though, it's not about your camera body.
Yeah.
It's about the lenses.
Yeah.
So I stuck with that. But eventually, you know, when it gets to a certain point, you have to move up to something.
Right. So that's one thing I definitely harp on people about is learn with what you have. And then once you grow out of that, then start thinking about upgrading. I was a victim to it too. Like for the longest time, you shot on a D5600, right?
Yeah.
Same with me. And I had that thing for about a year or two. And there's so many times I wanted to switch to a Sony or a Canon or whatever it was, or a D750 Nikon. But I was just like, let me just stick with it. And I stuck with it. And then I was able to upgrade I went from a D5600 to a A7S III, which is a huge jump.
Yeah.
So again, it's not only is it about the lenses too. The lenses is more important than the body, but it's about who's running the camera too.
Exactly.
Like,
yes.
You ever heard the phrase like, it's not the It's not the wizard, it's the wand.
Yeah.
No, it's not the wand.
It's the wizard. There you go.
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in that, and that's amazing that you're on the podcast and you're one of those people who stuck with it and then upgraded and then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think any photographer that is getting into that or starting definitely should do something that you're going to be comfortable with. And then after you are completely comfortable with the camera and you're like, okay, I'm ready to move up, then make that step. Right. Because if you just keep buying like bodies and switching them out and you're not really learning the way around a camera at all, I mean, you're just screwing yourself over. So.
Right. Yep. So also so we talk about how you got started. And so where are you at right now? You decided not to go to college, right?
Yes, I decided not to go to college. It was actually a last minute decision. It
Really?
was like a few weeks before classes started, and I told my mom, no, I'm not going.
What'd she say to that?
She said, okay, that's fine. I'll go in and cancel your classes right now. Wow. She was incredibly supportive. So was my dad. I mean, my dad didn't go to college, and he owns his own insurance agency. He's doing great.
Yeah.
And my mom did go to college, but they have been incredibly supportive as to my decisions and what I want to do. So I can never thank them enough for backing me up always.
That's awesome. So why did you decide not to go to college? Was it you wanted to pursue photography, or you just what was it?
So originally I thought about going to school for photography, but then I realized that's just stupid because
low key.
It is. It is really stupid. Just because I already know so much, and it'd be pointless for me.
Yeah,
that's just a waste of my money. Then I really had a serious conversation with my parents as to how much I struggled in high school.
That's my dog. My dog's sniffing. He's sniffing at the door to try to get in.
But I really struggled going through high school. I was a good student, but it was mainly just motivation. I mean, I loved school and I loved learning, but I don't know if I wanted to put myself through that again. Right. So that was really the deal breaker for me, is I don't want to put myself through the anxiety attacks and the panic attacks over schoolwork. I don't want to do that. I'm going to do what makes me happy. So that is the main reason that I did not go to college.
Gotcha.
But now I'm working for my dad at his insurance agency, and I'm going to be getting my insurance license.
There we go.
So, and I'm still doing photography, of course.
Right. Wouldn't be on the podcast if you weren't.
Yeah, right. But that's what I've been doing for now, and I really enjoy it, honestly. I get to talk to a lot of people and meet a bunch of people. So it's been really good. And honestly, I mean, I've gotten clients from like my dad's work too, from just like, he'll talk good about me, you know? And I'll get clients from that sometimes too. So that's what I'm doing now.
That's good. That's good. So did photography, did you know when you decided not to go to college that you didn't want to do photography, or that you wanted to do photography, or was it just kind of like?
When I decided not to go to school, I knew that I was going to be doing photography still. I knew that I didn't want that out of my life. And my mom really encouraged me to keep going with it. And I just did a wedding about a month ago now.
Was that your first wedding?
No. Okay. My first wedding was 2 years ago now.
Okay. I feel like I remember seeing these pictures.
Probably. But it was a very interesting first wedding.
Should we go into the story?
I think we should.
Okay, let's go into it.
So it was a Star Wars themed wedding.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And
it must have been weird.
It was. But I'll tell you honestly, the pictures came out so
really
cool. Because they had so what we did is there were literal Darth Vaders there. They had 4 of them.
Were they like groomsmen or something?
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Yes. And so I had them all go in the elevator and turn their lightsabers on. And it was the coolest.
That's
it was
dope.
honestly
sick,
really
though.
the coolest picture. But the bride was Princess Leia, and it was, I'm going to pull out the picture so I can show you this. But I mean, I really enjoyed it for a first wedding. It was not stressful at all. I had a really good time doing it, and I would do another Star Wars thing wedding, I guess.
Right. Not bad. Yeah. So while you're pulling it up, I'll kind of talk for a little bit. Buy some time. There it is. Let me see that. Oh my gosh. I know who that is. We're
not going to go into it.
That is so funny.
We won't go into it though.
That is so funny. I know exactly who the bride and groom are. Oh my gosh. That is hilarious.
I probably wouldn't mention it.
That made my day. I can't say it, but that's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Everyone's going to be texting me now, asking me, hey, who was it?
We can't say. But, I mean, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's funny. Especially if you go to, if anyone who goes to Malden is listening.
They would know.
They would know.
But that's why they're not on my Instagram.
Yeah. So. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. But that's cool though. I'm trying to get a little bit into the wedding photo side myself. I've done a lot of video, only video for weddings. I've had people ask me for photos, but I haven't really been super confident in it. We talked about it. I'm not the best with poses and all that type of stuff. And then also the camera I had was 12 megapixels, and I just didn't feel comfortable with a 12 megapixel camera
for photos.
Right, and it could have gotten the job done, but it's a wedding photo. It's the most important day of people's lives. I don't feel comfortable doing it, so I just told them no.
Yeah, no, and I understand that completely. I mean,
as we just talked about, an excuse for the cameras and stuff.
It's okay. But I mean, I think if you got into wedding photography, you'd be perfectly fine. Mm. Because I mean, any photos you do are so good.
Yeah, I feel like I would do good, but
I feel like you would. We just we'll work on the posing.
Yeah, she's gonna come to a couple senior shoots with me, I think, and she'll help me out a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna work on it.
Yeah, we'll work on it for sure. So you just talked about where you're at right now. Oh, talk to me about the travel thing. You're doing some content for a travel agency.
So it's actually my aunt and my mom have a travel agency, and they are hiring me to go to the Bahamas and take a bunch of just strictly content for them to use on all their social media platforms, because I mean that's really the way to reach people now, especially TikTok.
Right.
You can get to anybody through TikTok. Yep. So I'm going to be doing a lot of content while I'm in the Bahamas I'm going for 4 days in March.
You trying to take me with you?
Yeah, I'll take you with you. You can get in the suitcase.
Hey, I'll do that. Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah. I mean, it'd probably make it easier on me, honestly, getting content.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my sister's gonna go with me as well.
Okay.
But I've tried to teach Erica how to kind of use a camera, and she can hold it and take a picture.
Right,
but like
right.
if I'm gonna do videography stuff,
Right.
I might just have to use her kind of as model and me video.
Right.
So
hey, we'll let me talk to your mom and aunt. We might be able to.
Okay, we can work something out. We'll send you to the mountain house.
Okay, for sure. Duh, I'll do that in a heartbeat. So yeah, so you're doing that, and that sounds that definitely sounds exciting.
Yes, I'm very excited about it. I've been wanting to do it for a while, especially since you kind of inspired me in that one when I saw your video for that Airbnb what was it?
What was it called? I know exactly what you're talking about.
I forget the name though.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about though. I did an Airbnb travel video thing for someone.
And it really sparked an interest in me. I was like, because I've seen content like creators do that before for travel agencies. But then I kind of just forgot about it. It was in the back of my mind. And then I saw yours. And I had to do it.
You had to.
I had to.
I mean, you get to travel for free.
Exactly.
Maybe you're not getting paid, but like you get to travel for free.
Everything's all inclusive.
Exactly.
I mean, why not? So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I definitely want to try to get into that more. I've only did what's the website I did that for? It's Stayamo. That's what it's called. Yeah. And you have to get like accepted into it. Usually, it says on the website. So how do I could go really into this, but an Airbnb place has to apply for it, and it has to be a cool enough place for them to get accepted into it. Same thing with photographers or like influencers. It says you have to have a certain amount of followers. It says like 10,000 to get accepted.
Are you
serious?
I
applied, and they were like, "Oh, your stuff's good, so we'll just accept you." I'm like, "Hey,
okay,
I'll take it."
Good job, Kevin.
Most people don't want to use me because I don't have that many followers.
Yeah,
and like I post mostly sports photos. Like I'm not. If you look at my page, I don't look like an influencer like at all. Yeah. So, probably won't get a whole lot of like more stuff from Stayamo. But I mean, if I do, I'll try to do it, or I might just reach out to random people I know. So, because it's fun just to travel.
Yeah, and I get 10,000 followers is kind of pushing it though for photographers. Yeah. Because I mean, there's a lot of amazing photographers that are just in the really low thousands that no one will even give a single thought to unless you have a certain amount of followers, which I think is just absolutely absurd.
Right. And that I was thinking about that the other day. Like I think the best, this isn't like hard fast the rule, but some of the best photographers I've seen have like 2,000 followers. Yeah. Like all the ones that not all the ones, but a majority of the ones, cinematographers especially, they don't get a lot of followers on Instagram. Yeah. The people who are like work on like big budget films, and you go to their Instagrams, some of them have like 2,000, 3,000. Maybe they might, sometimes it's like 10,000. It's a lot, but a majority of them don't have a lot, and it's crazy.
And I feel like people don't realize also how hard it is for us to get a following. Yeah. Because, I mean, really the only people that are interested in seeing our work are other photographers. And because if I'm a client and I'm looking at your page, I'm just going to scroll through your page really quick and decide if I like you or not and book you maybe. I don't have to follow you because I don't want to see, I mean, being a client, I don't want to see all the pictures that you've taken of everybody else, which makes it really hard.
Right. I think the way, especially with TikTok, and I've kind of listened to some podcasts about it, is to almost be like an influencer, like grow your like personal brand. So with me, that's like having this podcast. It's like I'm at PRSETS and I take photos, but I also have my YouTube channel, and it's like putting yourself in front of the camera. That's how you kind of like make that flip. And then you see it with TikTok people too. Like there's some people on TikTok. Have you seen the wedding guy, the big like black wedding guy that does like wedding videos? Yes, and he has all the gear. Honestly, I don't think he's that good, but people book him because of like the persona because he's well known on TikTok, and he has a big following and a big like personal brand. So I think that's really how that's definitely playing a big part into it. Yes. Don't know how to necessarily like be good at that, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
It's a learning process.
Yes, for sure. So let's talk about, you said you had some tips for photographers. And you want to kind of go ahead and get into that? You might have forgot them. I wrote them down for you if you forgot.
Okay, so we actually talked about this. That's something I'm really big on personally. When I first started out, I struggled with pricing, and eventually I did some research and realized how much I should be charging and all of that. But now that I have grown and I have worked with a lot of clients. If I know someone personally or have talked to them and they have expressed to me that they, really struggle with money or anything like that, I am 100% willing to work with them. But to a certain extent.
Right.
The less you pay, the less you're going to get.
Right. Right. We're not just giving away stuff here.
Yeah, we can't just give into it because we still have to make money.
Right.
But you should always try and work with your clients, especially if somebody is struggling, because that will also, they will talk so good about you then.
Right.
Like, yes, this person was amazing. They worked with me incredibly well. Like, I would recommend them to anybody. And that will serve you very well later on.
Definitely.
So,
and I definitely can attest to that. Working with people, that will definitely give you a better like recommendation from people, like word of mouth, especially in the wedding and like portrait area. Like that's how you get clients, is through word of mouth. And then if you're able to work with them and they say good things about that, then that's a plus for you.
Yeah, especially in the wedding industry.
Right.
Just because wedding photographers and videographers are very expensive. They are not cheap.
Yes, not at all.
So being able to work with someone and them refer you to another couple or something saying, hey, this person worked with me really well. Like, I love them. I think you should maybe reach out to them. I think will serve everyone very well. So highly recommend doing that.
We'll go ahead and tip number 2 now, right?
Yes. So this is one of my biggest pet peeves with a lot of photographers. Is when someone will post and say, I'm doing these photo shoots. Or senior photos.
Oh, I know where this is going.
You get 10 pictures for $350.
Yeah.
No. We don't do that.
Not at all. Or it'll be, okay, you pay me $300 to come take the photos, and then you got to pay separate to actually buy them.
Yeah.
It's like, and you got to pay like, it'll be like $100 for 5 photos.
I
It's
know.
like, yo, what? Like, so what do you do instead though?
I personally, every single picture that I take, I edit and send to the client for them to pick out what they want to post. I don't think it's fair for you to be paying me so much money for me not to edit all your pictures. And for one, that would be a waste of my time. I took all of those pictures and you're getting 5 of them.
Right.
Then what was the point of me taking all the other ones?
Right.
So I'm really, really big on editing all of the pictures, sending them all to them so they can choose whatever they want, post whatever they want. And that's just my biggest pet peeve.
Right.
I cannot stand when photographers don't do that.
Yeah.
I feel like that helps us out.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that definitely helps us out on the business side for sure, because and something I do is I'll say, so when I do sport, not necessarily on sports photos, because it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But for like senior portraits or something, like I have a package and it's like $250, and I say you'll get 50 plus photos. Most likely you'll get like 75.
Yeah.
So you promise them something, then you over deliver.
Yeah.
And then that helps you out with what we just talked about with word of mouth and all that stuff.
Exactly.
And there's just no reason for like to be like stingy with the photos. Like I feel like most people who do that are the people who don't get enough clients in the first place. So then they have to like milk it as much as they can for that one client that they do get. So I've only known one photographer who does that. And she ended up she was a teacher and then ended up going teaching back the next year.
I know multiple that do that.
Yeah.
And I look and I honestly just don't understand how they build their clientele up so much just because of how crazy that is.
It's just cheap. I feel like.
Yeah. I don't know how they can do that. And I feel bad if I were to do that. I try. I've never done that.
Yeah.
Never. Not once.
Let's just put all those people out of business. Let's just not book
honestly.
them.
And clients are surprised when they come to me. And I'm like, yeah, you get all of your pictures back, edited, everything. They're like, really?
That's crazy.
Like,
that's so
wild.
Yeah,
of course you do.
It's just like better for business. Like you're treating people better. Again, word of mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
It helps you out more.
But
number 3, right?
Yep, third one. So this one goes into a lot for couples. because couples can be very hard to shoot and pose.
Weddings and just regular couple stuff, right?
Yes. So, especially for weddings, since this is like a one-time deal, like you don't get to redo this. Right. So I try and talk to my wedding clients or couple clients, whatever, as much as I possibly can and get to know them and let them get to know me a little bit. So instead of us, meeting for the first time or talking really for the first time on the day of their wedding or the day of their shoot, it's not awkward and everyone's very comfortable, because if someone's stiff when you're doing a shoot, right, the photos don't turn out good, and I feel like I've disappointed someone and not done my best work. So I really try to be communicative with my clients, especially the couples and for weddings.
For sure. I definitely did take that advice, because I did the last wedding I did, which is video. So it wasn't like, I feel like it's a little different with video. Because the photographers, for at least when I do weddings, the photographer is the main one who's doing the poses.
Yeah.
But like I didn't meet the people until like the day of. And I was like, I didn't even know I didn't even know what the lady looked like at all. I was like, where's Sam at? And they were like, oh, she's in there. I was like, which one's Sam? And I was like, oh wait, no, it's the lady getting ready, like in a like almost ready, like in a bride dress. So, but it ended up being fine. That's a whole nother story about that wedding, but we won't go into that. But no, I definitely agree. It's definitely better to just get them comfortable, and yeah, it's just better for business for sure. You get better photos out of it.
Yes, you do.
So talk to me. We kind of hit on it a little bit, but tell me about like your plans for the future, like what you see yourself doing in the next maybe year or so, 5-10 years. Like, do you have any dreams, aspirations?
So I really want to do some more. I feel like I could still be better educated with photography. I definitely want to keep learning and everything from other people. I actually did like a college class at USC School of Journalism on Photoshop.
Really?
Yeah.
Did that help you out?
Yes, it really did. That's how I mainly learned how to use Photoshop. So that was a really big help to me. And I'm guessing in the next year I'll continue working for my dad, just with everything going on. Right. But I will continue doing photography, and I'm going to start really building up my social media since my little break. But I'm really excited for it. I think it'll be good for me.
That's good. Yeah. For a little bit, I wanted to go to like a film school, but like not like film school, like 4 years of film school.
Yeah.
But like I want to take some classes, especially with like lighting, which I don't.
Lighting's hard sometimes.
When it comes to like video and like cinematography, not just like turning on a light, like I just have lights turned on here and it looks fine, but really like learning how to like craft light and shape it and do all that stuff. I wanted to take a class for it and never actually did it, but with the job at Relentless, I was able to learn from a guy named Rob, and he kind of helped me and showed me some things, so I feel a little bit more comfortable. I definitely couldn't go on a set and be a DP and like a cinematographer right now, but I have a subscription to that magazine right there. It's called American Cinematographer.
There's a good amount over there.
And haven't really read all of them at all, but they will be helping me once I actually read all of them. So, and it gives valuable information for sure. So, I know something that I want to do in the future, maybe in the next year or so. I talked to you about it a little bit, is the short film. You seem super excited about this.
I am really excited about it because I loved the first one that you did.
Yeah, so if you know, I'm about to put myself out there. I'm about to get caught up. Oh, shoot. But yeah, so if you follow me on Instagram, I created, it was for the church actually. I created a short film narrative type thing for a certain service we had at the church, and it was based on the movie Love and Basketball, which is like a 90s movie, like super. It's a not great movie in my opinion. But the service was called Love and Football because it was the day of Valentine's Day and the Super Bowl. So Love and Basketball, they loved Love and Basketball, so Valentine's and Super Bowl, Love and Football. That's how we got it. So I wanted to create like a concept video around football and love and Valentine's Day, and so I created this story from like scratch. In a way, it was scratch. It was almost based off of a past relationship that I had, the whole plot of it wasn't necessarily like that, like based off the relationship, but kind of the backstory behind it and everything. I could go. I'm not about to go into.
Yeah, we're not gonna dip into that.
Yeah, but it was still based on that true life experience, and I think that's one of their best like art comes out of is true life experiences. Mm-hmm. So that's what I want to do with this short film. And I talked to you kind of about. I think the name for it will be House of Leaves, which is based off a John Mayer song. I have a John Mayer poster.
Oh yeah, it's right there.
I'm a big John Mayer big John Mayer fan, and so that's what I think the title is going to be. And it comes from a song called "Wheel" on one of his early albums, and it says one of the lyrics in it is, "You can't build a house of is that it? You can't build a house of leaves and live like it's an evergreen." Meaning like when it comes to relationships, you can't build a relationship off of stuff that won't last. So like you can't build a house of leaves and live like it's gonna, be there forever, like an evergreen type stuff. So that's what I feel like the theme of the short film will be. I love
that concept.
And kind of I'll have to make a plot that'll be interesting and not boring. Yeah. So we're working on it. I don't know how long it'll take.
We kind of talked about how much has to go into that one.
Yeah. So even the writing process will be the hardest part, and then finding actors and all the money part of it will be even something totally different, and will take even more time. But I was talking to my friend Rob, who he screenwrites and writes short films, and he tells me his short film he was writing for like a year. So
a whole year.
Yeah. So it'll be maybe was it a year? I don't know how long he was writing. He told me that for a feature film, full length, he would be writing for a year or two.
You better get started.
Yeah, I know.
Goodness.
I know. So I just stopped my job at the church, so I feel like I'll have a little bit more time to be able to think about stuff and write stuff. So that's a lot off my plate. So hopefully I can get to that eventually. But let's talk about something that you mentioned to me that you're definitely passionate about. Was your like mental health?
Yeah. So this past year was probably one of the hardest years I've had in a very long time. Right before I went into my senior year, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I got into a very toxic relationship.
Won't go there either.
Yeah,
definitely not.
We're not gonna go into that one. But since all of this was happening, and I was a senior in high school, so things started to really weigh down on me, especially with my mom. At the time, I had been working really late, so me and my dad, after she had her surgery, would take turns sitting with her. So since I got home so late, I'd sit with her and sleep on the couch with her because she'd have to get up every few hours to take medicine, do her drains and all of that. She couldn't move around without someone. So that really took a toll on me, and watching her go through chemotherapy was incredibly hard. I remember the day she came up to me and asked me to shave her head. That was hard on me.
Yeah, I bet.
But I'm glad she trusted that, like me with that, because I think it was even harder for her to ask that. So with all of that going on in my life last year, I really photography was in the back of my mind. I kind of let my anxiety completely take over, and I was just in such a bad place. I don't think I've ever cried so much in a year, just because I wasn't happy. And I let it affect my business, and I will regret it every single day of my life, because I wish I would have just pushed through and gotten help and said something to someone that it's affecting my whole life. I don't want to do anything. But thankfully, I got out of the relationship, and my mom is doing much better. So things have started to kick up again, and I've been doing a lot better. Ever since 6th grade, though, I have struggled with anxiety. I've seen a therapist. I've been on medication. But when things like that happen, it affects every aspect of my life. And I think any photographer that's getting into this is going to have, these issues of anxiety around just everything. Even when, if I go to a sporting event, whatever, and I see other photographers around me, I just my anxiety takes over. I can't do it. And sometimes like I have to go just to the bathroom or something, let my emotions out so I can function, because that's how much control it has over me. But I am very, very grateful for that I have access to a therapist, because she has helped me like no other. And I love therapy. I think everyone should be in therapy.
Is that a tip you have for people who are maybe going through something? I think just go see a therapist?
Everyone should see a therapist. No matter, that doesn't mean you're mental or something. I don't know why people think that. But it's good to just talk about things that are going on in your life with someone that isn't going to go tell the whole world.
Right.
So I think that benefits anyone and everybody. I would highly recommend.
Definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think something for me, I don't get that nervous when I see other photographers there, but definitely I feel have you ever heard of like the imposter syndrome, where like maybe you're at a shoot and maybe you do see other photographers there and you're like, wow, like do I maybe like belong here? Like,
right. Yes.
So there's that for sure. That definitely, like, I kind of struggle with that sometimes too. And even maybe when there's not photographers there, or I'm trying to think of a specific event, or maybe I'm just doing something and I'm like, wow, like, do I really like deserve to be here? Like,
right.
Should I? Like,
exactly.
So, but then you have to remind yourself, like, at least for me, like you prove that you could be here in the first place. Yeah. Like you wouldn't be here if you didn't prove it. So.
Well, even like when I saw you shot at the All-American game in Florida, I was just in my head, how did you do that? Like, I would have been so nervous, because that's still like a once in a lifetime thing. And the pictures that you get are the ones that they're like, it's one shot.
Right.
And there were so many important people there that I would have been a nervous wreck.
Yeah, I was a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sure you were.
Yeah. But all the sports things, that's like kind of like my element. So give me like 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes max, and I'll settle in and I'll be all right. So there's one time I pushed in front of a guy. I don't know if I told you this story, but let me tell this real quick. Because I was at that game. I was at the Under Armour All-America game. You know Jaden Lucas, right?
Yes, I took pictures of him before.
Okay, so he went to Malden, and that's why I was there, just to get photos of him. And he got this interception, made SportsCenter top 10.
I saw it. I saw the video.
This crazy interception. And I was right in the end zone where he went to celebrate. I had a D750 with a 120 to 300 2.8 on it. I not threw it down. I set it down, and then I ran over to where they were celebrating on this like chair thing. I ended up like pushing the camera guy. Like I feel like I unplugged something on the camera guy's thing, like the ESPN guy.
Yes, like actually filming.
I think I did, and then also I got in front of this one other photographer that was there shooting for like 24/7 Sports or some like big time guy, and he got mad at me, came up to me and was like, you can't be doing that. But I'm like, dude, I'm only here to shoot this one guy. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get this shot. Like, I'm sorry. He definitely thought I was like some prick, like 18-year-old kid or whatever.
Yeah, he probably thought you were someone that like didn't know what they were doing, when in reality, if he saw those pictures, he would have been like,
right.
Okay.
And I saw the photos he took, and I'm like,
yeah,
you should not be talking about that.
Right.
I'm sorry. But I ended up getting the shot, and it was fine. So
I saw it. It was good.
Let me try. I can try to pull it up real quick.
I loved the pictures from that game, especially the ones with. Did they actually had a yellow smoke bomb out there?
They did.
I love that picture.
Yeah,
it's so good.
So the yellow smoke bomb, I don't know if I've told this story or not on here, but that was like, I got so lucky when I took that photo.
It turned out so good.
Yes. Let me try to find it. Yeah, right here. It's the front cover of my website, if y'all are wondering what photo I'm talking about. But I was filming something, and then all of a sudden I see smoke bombs. And this was a D5600. You know the D5600, like if something like smoke bombs comes in the way, it's gonna focus on the smoke.
Yes.
It nailed it like perfectly. Like, yeah, I don't know how it did it. It was luck.
Because I have tried.
That's what it looked like before too.
With my. Good Lord.
I had to pump the D-haze like crazy.
I have tried before actually working with smoke bombs, and I was using my D5600 at the time. Yeah, that did not work out for me.
Nope. Yeah, you had to go AFS, and you can't go continuous mode on that.
Yeah, no, didn't work out well at all. Learned my lesson very quickly.
Yes.
So
another funny story with the Under Armour All-America game is I might put up a photo of it if I remember. But this photo right here, at the end of the game, that's all of the Texas A&M commits. All the people that committed to Texas A&M committed like that. That's all of them in one picture. So that's 1, 2,
insane.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like 4 and 5 star players, and they went like 5 and 7 this year. Like they sucked.
So, really?
Yeah, they were terrible. And I was like, you got all these Under Armour All-Americans, and y'all suck. But the one that's going crazy, what's his name? Evan Stewart. He went dumb. He went crazy, and I think that's the guy with the smoke bomb. I think that's Evan Stewart too. Yeah, it is. So he's been doing good, but the rest of them, I don't know.
Personally, I think those are some of the best pictures you have ever taken.
I think so too.
I will never. I think I actually bragged about them one time to somebody.
Really?
Yeah, I pulled them up and I was like, "Look at these pictures that my friend Kevin took."
That's crazy.
Because I was in awe. I was just like, "How?"
It was crazy. The reason I was able to shoot that was because I had that job with Malden and I had something I could prove to, which we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
With the whole social media thing that I ran their page and I was able to show them something, but. I'm super thankful for the opportunity, and thank you for shouting me out to your friends.
Yeah, cool. Of course. When in your podcast with Katrina, sorry, with Katrina, when she was talking about how she would get into games with her camera,
yeah,
I did that.
Yeah,
I did that when I wasn't a cheerleader at Malden anymore. I was like, there's no way I'm paying to get into this game to come take pictures of y'all. So I would put on my Malden cheerleading t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I'd put my cameras on me and I'd walk through and someone would stop me and I'm like, oh, the cheerleaders hired me to come take pictures of them.
No one ever says anything.
No.
Or really you could have just said, I'm on the cheer team because you have your shirt and they wouldn't have said anything.
But some of them were, I feel like, just close with Beth Ward.
Okay.
And
yeah, we won't. Yeah, we'll.
Yeah. I just felt like that could have gotten me into some trouble.
Okay. Yeah. So
So.
But yeah, well, again, let me see if let me go back to my notes and see if we have anything else we need to talk about. Oh yeah, the one question that we always got to ask at the end of every guest: what are some things that inspire you? And so let's do one that is photography based, and then let's do one that is not photography based.
So, photography based inspiration would be the praise that I get after a shoot. I crave that. The things that people say to me after they get their pictures back just absolutely build me up, and it makes me want to do it more. Right. And that's what I love, and it's what's kept me going. If I didn't have that, I mean, you should have that if you're a photographer and you know what you're doing. But if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to keep going. So that is always what keeps me in and keeps me going. I absolutely love it. But non-photography related would be definitely my parents. They have supported me through everything, even with the craziness in our life. They've never pushed college onto me. They've always supported me in my photography, anything that I want to do, anything that I want to pursue. They have supported me 100%. And my mom has even, if I need help with something, like during a shoot or whatever, she will drop everything and come help me. She has been absolutely amazing. Even the other day, I was doing some Valentine's Day pictures for. I'm getting ready to do some advertising for that. And I was taking pictures by myself, with my tripod, on the parking garage, and I had some roses. And I texted my mom. I was like, "Can you just come help me with a few pictures really quick?" And she literally showed up in her pajamas and flip-flops and just took pictures of me. And she's always been like that. So definitely my two biggest inspirations. I absolutely love them.
That's awesome. Well, again, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
We literally went to lunch at like 12, and I was gonna ask you if you wanted to film it today or like next week. I was gonna ask you if you wanted to film it next week. Then I was like, let me just ask if you wanted to film it tomorrow. Then I was like, screw it, let's just do it today because I don't have anything to do. So it was kind of last minute. We spent like almost an hour getting set up and trying to figure out what to talk about. And I feel like it went pretty smooth.
I think we did pretty good.
Not too bad. We had to restart once.
Only once. That was good.
Only not too bad. Not too bad. But again, thank you for coming on. It was definitely a blast, and hopefully we can get you on again, and we'll definitely still stay in contact for sure.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I really enjoyed being able to talk about everything.
Absolutely.
I think it went really well.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, again, thank you guys for listening to this is episode 6, right?
Yeah.
I think episode 6. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to episode 6 of the Casually Creative Podcast. This is a Thursday episode, I think, and we will see y'all on Monday. Thank y'all for watching and listening. Later, bye.